Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at patreon.com/inspired disorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Gunpowder Milkshake, new action movie out now on Netflix. A movie that has serious John Wick vibes, Hotel Artemis vibes, a little bit of Sin City, stylish. It's a very stylish movie. I enjoy it. It definitely has a lot, like similar to John Wick and Hotel Artemis. Like they all feel like they're from a similar type of a universe, like this universe of hitmen and assassins. This one is a movie about female assassins. It has this whole assassin world similar to John Wick, where they have their own diner, they have their own dental office that backs as a medical facility for them. They have like a bowling alley. Like there's this whole world of assassins that this movie exists in, which I really appreciate. I really appreciate setting up a world. It does take a bit for this movie to get going. There is not a lot of action in it at first. It takes a while for any fight scenes, but then it ramps up. There's like this, it starts with kind of setting up the story of the main character who, her mom was an assassin and ended up leaving. And she kind of followed in her mom's footsteps and is doing this job or whatever and gets sucked into this thing. And she learns about this bigger assassin world that she didn't know about, despite the fact that she's known to have been the daughter of this famous assassin. So not necessarily the most original kind of assassin origin story, but nonetheless a great way to set it up. Her handler is, what's his name? He's in everything. Paul Giamatti. Paul Giamatti's kind of like her handler who gets her jobs. But then there's this whole thing of like men controlling things, this like secret society of men that can secretly control everything, and it's the women who are fighting back. So it's kind of an action movie that has a lot of feminism in it, which is great. I think it adds some extra depth to the overall story of it. Some extra punch. The fact that these are all women fighting against this secret society of men who are controlling everything and making life horrible for everybody. But then there's also the library where this assassin goes and to learn more, or she like knows that they can handle stuff to dispose of things. And the library is amazing. That's where you see the other assassins that are there. You see, what's her name? You see Michelle Yeoh. You see, who else is? Are they all? Michelle Yeoh. Where is? That's crazy that she's not even on this thing here. But the females assassins are great. It's for whatever reason it's not showing all of the names. But I loved it. I loved the world that we were in. I didn't like this movie at first, but then it ramps up. You get to see awesome action scenes. There's a scene in a bowling alley where she has to fight the knuckleheads or the boneheads. I forget what they call them, but they're kind of just shitty, kind of henchmen that they sent after her. She has this suitcase that they need to get. I don't even remember what's in the suitcase, but it doesn't matter. It's the MacGuffin. So she has to fight these boneheads, and it's finally like a fight scene. And it's a cool fight scene. It's almost like a lot of fight scenes that take place in corridors where the fight kind of tracks along a certain direction in one direction and the back the other direction. It was a lot of fun. But it was fun to finally see an action film because before that it was always like they didn't show the action. Like this movie opens with our main character opening a door, and on the other side of the door are like 20 people with guns pointed at her. But somehow she like survives, but they never show how that plays out. It's just kind of referenced in the beginning. And I'm like, well, is this an action movie or are they just talking about action? But once they get everything set up, and then this girl gets folded into the mix where the main character shoots a guy but he has a kid, so she tries to save the guy's life, and meanwhile she gets the kid and is trying to protect this kid from these assassins that are after her, which is kind of fun. It's the same kid from My Spy. He's a little older in this film, but still great kind of addition to the cast of powerful women in this movie. But there's the bowling alley fight scene, and then after that they go to the dentist's office, where the dentist kind of it doubles as like their medical facility to like patch people up who've been injured. And while she's there, the boneheads show up and convince the doctor to sedate the assassin, the main assassin. And who's the main assassin? What's her name? Is it Karen Gillan? Yes. Karen Gillan is the main assassin. And so he's like, I can give her this shot, and it'll paralyze her arms, right? And she won't be able to do anything. Which makes for a great action scene, because she understands, she gets shot, she understands that her arms are rubber, are useless. So she has the girl tape a scalpel to one hand and a gun to the other hand. And then there's this great fight scene that reminds me of like a Jackie Chan Drunken Master kind of a fight scene with her and the boneheads. And she's just badass action scenes, by the way. This also reminded me a lot of the Margot Robbie movie, what is that? The comic book one, the Birds of Prey. That was a really fun action movie as well, that centered around female action heroes. So it has that kind of level of really good action and exciting, kind of like a Neon Blonde, although that had a couple good action scenes, but mostly a bad movie. This one, I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the world building. I would love to see some kind of mega crossover of John Wick, this, Hotel Artemis, because all of those movies live in a similar universe and could easily cross over into one another. But yeah, super inventive. Like the dentist's office fight scene was super fun, super inventive. Like, you just don't see stuff like that. The bowling alley scene, there's a diner fight scene, which is crazy. The end battle takes place in the library, which is awesome, because the library, the books are all fake books. When you open them up, they have different kind of resources within them, you know, just as books are a resource. Like, maybe some books have guns, some books have money, some books have different things that you might need, like gold bars or, you know, whatever, you know, passports, things to get. It's awesome. And that's kind of the home base for this ring of female assassins, and all of these older women who are like, you know, the leaders of this thing. They know all of it, but it's a crazy battle that happens in there. There's I mean, it's just kind of crazy also to see like librarians kick ass, you know. There's a great scene where one of them sacrifices herself, and it's just this great, you know, heartfelt moment. But yeah, all of the fights were great. There's a scene after they get out of the dentist's office where her arms are still paralyzed, so she has the girl drive. So the girl is doing the steering wheel, and then the assassin lady is doing the Sam is working the pedals. So it's this great kind of like chase scene inside of a car park. Just really awesome. Just another inventive scene to take advantage of the fact that your main character has no ability of her arms. Just so great. So much fun, this movie. It took a while to get going. I wasn't liking it at first. But then once the action moments started kicking in, I mean, it was doing a good job at building these worlds. But without the action scenes, it would have been all for naught, I would say. But yeah, it's great. It's so great. It's a lot of fun. I'm super excited to see more of this. You know, I enjoyed the world. I enjoyed the action scenes. Super inventive action scenes. I really enjoyed that. I enjoy seeing, you know, a female kind of centric action movie. Like the Birds of Prey movie was very similar in a lot of ways to that. Just a group of female action heroes kicking ass. Loved it so much. It's so good. So good. Way better than I thought it would be. A lot more fun than I thought it would be. I'm sure there's issues somewhere in there, but everything that, like, that's the thing. Like, if you can make the story be okay, right? Like, if I don't have to jump through too many logic hoops to go along with your story, like if you set up a world and you're playing by the rules of that world, then I'll buy in to that world. But then, you deliver with good action. There's good acting, good, heartfelt moments. You're seeing, mother-daughter kind of bonding moments, because the mom left and there's, she later comes back. It's just great. It's a great movie. I highly recommend watching it. I don't really want to spoil. Hopefully I didn't spoil too much of it. I just, mildly talking about scenes that I liked. But if you're interested in watching a really fun, I mean, from the way it's lit, I loved it. Because there's movies that are set at night or in dark scenes, but they're not lit well. Like, they're dark, but you can't see anything. This, like, everything's still dark. It's very similar in a lot of ways to John Wick, where John Wick, like, everything takes place at night, seemingly. But everything's lit in a way to where you can still tell it's nighttime, but the sceneries are lit up in a way to where you can see them, and it looks good. Like, you're still being able to take advantage of the scenery versus movies that are just set in darkness so that they can hide everything. Like, I love movies that will be set at night, but you can still see everything. Like, they're still lit in a way to where you can see everything, and it still looks beautiful. I mean, everything, the set direction, a lot of this is very visually appealing, a lot of this movie. From the fights, choreography, to the actual, like, set design and everything else. But I really enjoyed it. If you're looking for a fun action movie, you can't really go wrong with Gunpowder Milkshake on Netflix right now. Get yourself $25 in new credit when you sign up for your great new cell phone service over at Ting. Go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. Sign up now with that link, and you get yourself $25 to put towards a new device, put towards your service. But it's a great quality service that you do not pay an arm and a leg for. I love it. I've been using it for years and pay so very little. I could almost pay 2 months of my cell phone bill with $25 credit that you get for free when you go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. That's Ting, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com, and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!